Do elite level betas lose frame in marriage due to divorce laws? Um, well, what Dr. Taraban is missing here is conversations that I had with Dalrock back in the day. Okay. Dalrock used to, your question, MCD, your question refers to what's called threat point. Okay. Of course, me saying this, Dr. Taraban is going to do another 12-minute video called Threat Point. Let me tell you why no one's talking about this. Threat point is this, is that it gets back to power dynamics, right? The person in any relationship with the most power is the one who needs the other the least. And so what happens is the power dynamic shifts in marriage because the woman needs the man less than the man needs the woman. And this is just simply like, I'm not saying like emotionally, I'm not saying financially, whatever. I'm just saying legally, by signing that contract, that woman now needs that man less than he needs her if he's going to, maintain. One of the things that I keep seeing from TradCons constantly right now is this push to do better. And you've heard me say this a million. I was just said this on Access Vegas. I think there's even a clip of this now. But on Access Vegas, I mentioned something to the effect of how you'll see people like Matt Walsh, certainly Scott Galloway, right? Liberals and traditional conservatives alike both agree on one thing when it comes to the masculinity crisis, and that is that men need to do better. Why do they need to do better? Not because we need better men, because we need women to have those better men as better husbands. None of them can deny the fertility crisis. None of them can deny that we have been below replacement level fertility in the United States since 1976. Okay. The time to have worried about it and rang the alarm bell was in the mid 70s. But now everybody wants to fuss about it. Same thing with Korea. This is a worldwide thing too, by the way. I think a lot of people simply miss the boat on that when they talk about fertility, or they want, oh, well, what about men? Men this and men that. Men need to do better. They need to be more masculine, blah, blah, blah. But we can't have them be assholes. That's what Scott Galloway's whole shit show is about. It's like, yeah, well, we need better men, but don't give them enough authority so that they can actually run the fucking world again. Don't give them that power back. Just make them better enough so that when the floodwaters rise, they're going to go save Aunt May from the rising waters in Mississippi or whatever. When the burning building is about to burn up the baby, we need the kind of masculinity that guy will fearlessly run in there, grab the baby, and run back out. Right? How many times did people do that and they die? But the fact that guy would run in there and run out is the real question. In fact, that's my main gripe with guys like Galloway. That's why I compared and contrast Robert Greene with Galloway's takes on masculinity. Robert Greene is like, emotionality is feminine. Women lead with the emotional is the female realm. The rational and the empirical, that's the male realm. Has been for quite some time. Men lead with their reason, which used to, until they were taught like women to lead with their emotions. I love it when I say this. Whenever I'm explaining instinct, emotion, and reason, and I'll say, from a naturalistic perspective, women process information, process stimulus from the outside through instinct, emotion, and reason, and in that order. Men, instinct, reason, and then emotion. We have our natural instincts to, we're observing, we're figuring out what the fuck's going on. And then we're like, okay, how am I going to solve this problem? Reason. And then how did I feel about that? Whew, I almost got eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. Oh, jeez, I was scared, right? Women, on the other hand, is instinct, emotion, and then reason. And we're taught that that's the right way to do it because we live in a gynocentric social order. Scott Galloway is a product of a gynocentric social order. I mean, so is technically Robert Greene, but Robert Greene at least kind of understands. He sees the code in the matrix, at least. Scott Galloway, as a liberalism, socialism, communism, feminism, they're all parts of the same stem. They all come from the same root of that tree. So a female way of thinking is egalitarianism, Remember, hunters and gatherers. Women are the gatherers. Women find safety in numbers. Women need security. They are the vulnerable sex. They are the incubators of the next generation. And so therefore they need to have long-term security. Men, on the other hand, know that there's no such thing as security, period. The only way you get security is with a big fucking stick and a lot of muscles. That's how your ancestors did it. And that meant that they didn't think about how they felt about it before they went out and they fucked shit up. Men are violent. Yes, they are. Deal with it. That's part of masculinity. Violence is inherently masculine. Inherently masculine. There we go. Much better. Anytime I like touch something, I'm afraid I'm going to like move something around here. Inherently masculine. Violence is masculine. Sorry, not sorry. That's the way shit works. Again, what I would tell Scott Galloway is this: is like that you want, coach, and you want a nice, warm, huggy, fun dad and stuff like that to be your masculine ideal. Great, but you know what? When shit hits the fan, dad needs to pick up an automatic rifle and start fucking killing things, right? What was it? Justin Wallace says a man needs to be able to change a diaper and slit throats in the same half hour. Yeah, because both of those are, you could argue, both of those are inherently masculine, right? Solving problems. I got a problem out here. I got to slit this guy's throat. Oh, there's shit in the diaper. I got to solve that problem too. Problem solving. Let me see if I can get back to this. Dr. Teraband, by the way, if you want any questions, today is as much an AMA as anything else. I will get back to sedation here in just a moment. Dr. Teraband defines frame as authority and control in a relationship. That's power. No, that's because Dr. Teraband has never dated in his life, I guess. The frame is the sum total of money, muscles, and game. It's health, wealth, and relationships. It's having a world into which that woman wants to enter. Does it have to do with control in a relationship? Those are power dynamics. Yeah, in a way, I guess I could agree with half of. I think he's half right. Not the first time he's been half right, is it? Thank you, Sam. I wonder if it's the tracking. I love the gimbal on this thing. It's great. If you want to have any kind of like in-depth understanding of frame, I've done probably 7 different chapters on it in various books, and certainly in the newest one. I've got at least 4 essays about that on Substack right now, as well as so Teraband's, I have a love-hate relationship with Orion. I like him well enough. I understand what he's doing. The guy, when it comes to clips and it comes to short form video, outworks the fuck out of me, but I do long form. So not much I can really do about that. But no, when it comes to frame, I'm of the opinion that frame is sort of the gestalt of money, muscles, and game, health, wealth, and relationships. It is the world into which a woman enters, and either she enters it or you enter hers. So is that it by definition authority and control in a relationship? No, not necessarily. And I'll tell you why. Because you could have a guy like, let's just say like Jeff Bezos or somebody like that, or somebody who's got a good chunk of change, somebody who's got a lot of money, so that woman is financially dependent on. I've worked with enough guys right now who have been, anybody would say that they're alpha. This guy's super alpha. How can you say he's not alpha role? In their business, in their personal life, in their business life, in their money life, in, I don't know, whatever, their religious life, they're men's men, right? Until the woman enters the factor and she's the one that sort of wears the pants. He'll do anything for her. It's blue pill alphas, right? They do not control frame. They do not have any power dynamics other than the fact that and if you saw them, you would say, okay, well, they're the ones that are in control, but they're really not. So it's really here's another one. Let's do the reverse. You got a guy who is sort of this homeless bum and living with you and is financially dependent on you, and you're the one that is, the one that has the whole has a living situation. Are you entering his world or is he entering your world, ladies? So again, the definition, I don't think he's thought about this enough, because frame is not it's a psychological term, a sociological term, psychological term. It's not something that pickup artists just pulled out of their ass one day. It's actually something that maybe Mystery read it somewhere and incorporated it into Venusian arts and all this other shit. But it's actually a psychological term and a psychological phenomena that that the early pickup artists picked up on and they used, and still is, I think, a pretty valid concept today. So